Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So what did I do yesterday? I did the two videos and I don't know what happened, but the second video went for 1 hour and 18 minutes. So I do apologize for those who were watching and thought, will this girl ever end? Because she didn't, she kept going. I'm not sure how it happened. I know I filmed probably about 12-15 minutes and then I decided to pause it and find all of the wools. And when I come back, for some reason I didn't do the math properly. Well, I forgot that I did a 12-minute section or 15-minute section, and then I filmed the hour. And then I didn't even do the hour, I did like an hour and 5 minutes or something. So by the time I uploaded it, it was like an hour and 18 minutes. So, I don't know. It's so hard to stop when you start doing stitching. Don't you agree? Like you think, oh, I'll just sit down for 10 minutes and suddenly an hour goes by, and then you start to justify why you should just stay doing what you're doing and you don't really need to get up and go and do the washing. You can do that tomorrow and you just keep stitching. Well, that's my problem anyway. So when it came to doing the third video in this little series, which is what I'm going to do now, I don't know, I hopped up and started cleaning my room because I think I mentioned it in the video that I wanted to do a spring clean and reorganize things that I don't need, go back in, get some fresh inspiration out as we start the next 6 months of stitching. So, and I've got a few projects that are swimming around in my head, so I really wanted to start making piles of things, let them sit and percolate for a bit, and I guess make sure that it is something that I did want to do in the way of a new project. So yeah, I really got into the cleaning. So the third video didn't happen. It's happening now. So I do apologize for that very, very long video. If I didn't have any regulation, as in how much Telstra allows me to put up easily. Having said that, that hour and 18 minute video, that went up pretty quick. So I know, what they call it here in Australia, broadband, fibre optic is in our street now. And our street has probably about 10 houses in it, and most of them have switched over. We've kept the two going, we have as well, but we've kept the two going at the moment because the stores are connected to Telstra, and we've gone to, I don't know who it is, Aussie Broadband or something, and my husband's yet to flip the business over because he's got to change the server, and yeah, it's a bit trickier than just, you know, a TV and phones and things. So I've noticed that Telstra was like so slow, and now it's speedy because everyone's left the system in the street. So I'm enjoying really fast times on both services, which is pretty funny, isn't it? So what I'm doing now is I ironed out all of the, let's start at the beginning, for goodness sakes, seed stitch. I did some seed stitch. I started by working this side of the cut edge of that piece of fabric. And I wanted to do that just to show you how, if you don't like a cut edge when you're collaging fabrics together, seed stitch is a really good way of blending those edges. So you can see there, you can hardly tell that there's two fabrics, especially because they're similar colours, the two fabrics themselves. Such a good match. Then I thought, well, that looked like a nice band of seed stitch. So this side, I just did a little bit, just a little. I used this plant here as my everything to the left, and here I just did a little bit. You'll see just in there, just little bits. Try to keep it a bit random. And then I came over here and I did a little bit around the top edge, a little bit around the flower, a little bit through there, just little scatterings of seed stitch through there. Down here, I got a little bit more dense in around the bottom of that motif, and then a couple through the center there. So really happy with the seed stitch. And I got to play with something that was really dense plus scattering. So yeah, now we've just got to do the 3 flowers and their centers. So I dug out some pearls that are very close to these pearls in the motif. They're not a perfect match. These ones in this motif are a real pearly white, where mine are a bit of a polar white. And I'm hoping that they're enough of a match, especially if they're not near this piece. So that's the plan. So I'm just going to stitch a few of those on. There's a bit of green thread. There was a spot where here I felt like I needed to extend that down a little bit. But even if I don't get to it with you guys, I will. I can fix that. So yeah, in the cleaning of my room, I come up with a way to hang my panels. Now, when I say panels, I've got a few of them, and they're folded up, which is not real good for them because of the bits and pieces that are on them. So I thought at the end of the video, I'll show you what I did. I should be able to just tilt the camera to my side and you can see how I hung them. I had a clothes dryer door thingy in the laundry, and I do use it, but only occasionally. And I thought that over my door with some coat hangers, you know, the coat hangers that have the little alligator clips on them that hold trousers or skirts. That's what I've done, and I'm really happy with it. And the whole motivation, I guess, to clean my room and tidy up a little bit and give it a good dusting was to get the Mannequin in, because the Mannequin, the seamstress, has arrived. And I made her up, and she was sitting just outside my room because the feet on her are a bit of a tripping hazard. So I knew I needed to get her tucked away so that I didn't break my neck on her. So that led to a major cleanup. And I did pack some boxes ready to move my craft room to Burrum, which is not happening in the immediate future, but I sort of, as I went across things, and I thought, oh, I wonder if I'm going to do this at all between now and, I sort of gave myself a year. Am I going to do this? So there was a few things that I could pop away in a box, but I did clearly label the boxes, and I could get to it if I needed to. So yeah, the boxes are nearby at the moment. So that felt good, because that then gave me a little bit more bench space, so I was able to put some containers in that I've bought for storage. And behind me now is, I used to have my junk journal stuff because I was doing videos that were making journals. So not far from me was a lot of that type of stuff. Well, that box containing all of the kits that I was using at the time, I've moved that box now to the pile to go to Burrum Heads, you know, when I move my craft room. But I can get it if I need it, because I didn't box it up because it's in like a plastic crate. And that space now has allowed me to have some Perspex clear pull-out drawers, which hold some of my more special lace. You've probably seen that Perspex container on the desk with my French lace in it. Well, it's part of a tiered system that I'm trialing, and so far I'm really liking it. I'm digging it because it's Perspex, not just plastic, so it's holding its shape. The number of plastic containers I've bought over the years, and they just go all whoopee. But I'm really liking these Perspex ones. I got onto the Perspex idea because my thread stand which you'll see when I tilt the camera, has Perspex boxes all over it. Now the stand I got from my work, it was from a supplier that we purchased some really fancy Christmas decorations from, and they made us buy the stand as well. It's a timber, two-sided, four-sided stand that swivels. It's got little wheels under it, but I'm on carpets, it doesn't turn, but in the shop it was on concrete or whatever hard surface, and customers could turn it. The shop's now put napkins in it, is a use that it has, but there was a couple spare, so I've pinched one for my room, and I've been slowly buying these Perspex containers to hold threads in it, especially the bulky ones like these guys, and that keeps the dust off of them. I can clearly see, and they're strong because they're Perspex. If they ever hit the ground, they just shatter, mind you, but let's hope that doesn't happen. So yeah, I think I need 6 more, and my piece, my stand is full, and it's working really, really well. So yeah, it's not often you consider a shop fixture as something you could use in your craft room, but you see some of these studios, you know, that are just so beautiful in the way their furniture is set up, and a lot of the pieces they use are old business things from printing houses and architects that have those big drawers that they can lay blueprints in. So definitely the commercial business world, especially the antique commercial business world, does seem to creep into our craft rooms. The other thing I've got right behind me is my threads that are on small bobbins like those guys. And the other thing I did, I hope I don't regret it, because I had so many threads out for the Down the Garden Path project, so they all went back to their boxes, and I decided to sort my threads by colour. I'm just going to pop a few of those these are little clear beads. That's all I've got in the way of clear beads. I was quite surprised. I've got so many colours, but not many. And they would have come from like a piece of jewellery or something that's been broken down, is my guess, because there's hardly any in there. So yeah, what was I saying? The threads are now sorted by colour, because I was telling my husband, I find that we do a video and I'll be like, I need a green, and then I'd go rummaging for a green, but I'd need to pull down probably 4, maybe 5 containers to peruse the greens, and it's annoying. So now, not only can I reach right behind me, oh, this needle, you know who it is, it's Reginald. Just threading him is a nightmare. These bead needles, but I do so love my beads. I can reach behind me and just try and finish a sentence. Grab the container of threads that we're looking for, just green or just... I hope I don't regret it, because I've now sort of lost track of what company is what thread. But I think I can tell. I think I've done enough stitching to look at a thread and go, oh, that's a stranded cotton, or that's a Appleton wool. Probably the only ones that get me a little bit confused is the difference between gumnut yarn and Appleton wool, but I don't know. I think I can tell. I'm probably just so used to just knowing. But if I write the name of the thread on the bobbin, it should be fine. But yeah, I'm really, really liking that. Oops. And I feel really liberated. Does that make sense? That my room is organised again. Nothing better than when a project comes to the end and you can pack away all of the bits that you had out for it. That's why I probably struggled to do a mood board like everyone else did, where you lay out on a space everything, like everything, because I felt like my space had everything laid out on it already. So I thought, no, on my mood board's going to be the fabric pack, and then from there I'll slowly edge my way out into the mood board world. And that's when these little mini mood boards came to mind, that I still didn't need to pull out everything and make another big mess on the corner of my room, only to have to pack it all back. And so mini mood boards is how this came to be. And it's been good because it's given me something to stitch, because my down the garden path was really coming to a dramatic halt. I still haven't got back to review the last prompt on them all and do the final stages, but I will do that next week. Once I get back from the retreat, I'll then focus on down the garden path, finish all that up, and then we'll be ready for the 1st of July. Can't wait. Nothing like a new project. My head stopped spinning now. I feel like I've got a plan. As for Honey's dress, you lot aren't much help, you know, because you're all blue, blue, blue. Then I did the pink video and you're like pink, pink, pink. And then I did the purple video. Yeah, not as much. You're sort of, a few of you are like, oh, purple's the one. And then a lot of you were like, I like all of them. I don't know. So I was thinking, well, you lot aren't much help at all. So we're still undecided. And now you're watching the neutral one and you're like all going, oh, it's neutral. Honey Bear wants neutral. Well, Honey Bear's not getting neutral. The Seamstress is going to be neutral as neutral can be. It will have to have some colours. So I'm thinking dusty pinks and muted tones, and then the lace, and then these tones will be all part of it. But yeah, that was another thing I was going to tell you. Melanie from Purveyor of Reclaimed Textiles, who is on Instagram and sells secondhand textiles and threads. I've been thinking about Grandma and her tapestry, and I think I said in the day, I may have even told you this, I can't remember, I'm pretty excited about it, so I may have even told you. Grandma did a lot of tapestries. They were all landscapes. I'll give you the short version, and pretty much they I've got probably about 7 of them here, but they just don't suit the Seamstress project. So I was thinking, well, maybe I could find a tapestry that I could purchase and do a portion of it and include that into the Seamstress. Haven't been able to find anything. I've been looking everywhere for a magnolia. I sort of felt like a magnolia would be nice to stitch into a project. I'm looking for some cotton, some wool here. I'm feeling like we need some little French knots there. So anyway, up pops on Melanie's site a tapestry that I believe is half done, and it's a bouquet of flowers. And the colours appear to be pretty good for our work. So worst case, once I get it, maybe it's not fully done and I can do some tapestry over things, or finish it to get it to match. So I grabbed it, and seriously, I think it was $10. So I have a tapestry coming that we can use on the piece. That will represent a very big part of Grandma's sewing. It was her R&R, how she relaxed from a day of wedding dressmaking. She would do tapestries, cross stitch and crocheting. She even did tatting, but we're not going to go there. Don't even suggest it, you guys. I did a little bit of tatting with the Anne Brooks project. And oh boy, not going to be going there again. So I'm just doing, I'm really chatty, aren't I? And I'm not telling you what I'm doing. I'm pretty much doing those 3 daisies, and I'm trying to make the flower center as interesting as possible. So I'm just trialing here a few different bits and pieces, like pearls and some French knots. And by dragging some pearls up into the piece, I feel like it sort of makes it all come together. Now, this last one, we might, I wonder, what would it look like if I did some turkey work where it gets all fuzzy and such a little flower? It might be too much. See, it's only tiny. Maybe if there was a bigger flower, a bit of turkey work would work, but I think we'll pass on that. This little guy, I did find some little diamantes like those in the piece, but I don't know. Oh yeah, they are big. Oh, what's that? Hello. Oh yes. Huh. Well, a shame there's only one. What do you think? Let's be bedazzled. It's a bit big, isn't it? Gee, I wish I had a small one of those. I don't know where I got that from. I might have to go to that bead shop, my favourite bead shop at Browns Plains. Any Brisbane ladies, go down to Browns Plains, and on the main drag into the shopping centre zone, I think it's Browns Plains Road actually. It is somewhere along there. Brilliant. What am I going to do in there? I did get this out. This is that springy, not very pleasant to use metal thread. But I thought, well, what could we do with it? I think it was a DMC stranded thread. And it'd be good if you broke it down into just single fibres, but I sort of want it a little bit thicker. Let's see what we can do. Can we get some French knots in here? Degree of difficulty might be high because it's such a fiddly little... Maybe we just do a colonial knot. Let's just not make it hard on ourselves. Now, what else will I do to this this piece? I had thought of embroidering that flower. I won't do it in the next video. We'll move along now to something else. But I think it will be something I will do during the season of, during the process of the seamstress. I might end up embroidering that. Let's get rid of that. Would be really fun to do, because that's not a bad flower to embroider. Those leaves or those petals would come up beautifully, especially if I put it. So I've been doing so many French knots lately, especially if not even finishing my words, my sentences. I don't know what I was going to say there, guys. Okay. That's pretty good. I do have a thread that's sticking up there. I'll have to just stitch that down and neaten that up. I think we can get one more. Well, that thread is a really good match for that lace motif. The silver, or the it's nearly a pewter, isn't it? Here we go. So I need to just find the green wool. There we go. I'll finish that off neatly. I've got, see how that, can you see that? One of the threads is up in the air, and knots are pretty very hard to undo. So what I'll do is I will pick up one of these threads. I'll do it now, how to fix it. I'm going to grab one of these threads, come back up to the front, and try and catch it's fiddly. I'm not a fan of metal threads, which I'm sure I've said before in the past. So I'm just going to come back up near it and catch it down. Lucky this work is not going to the royal show, because I'm sure some judge would spot that my colonial knots are not sitting in their entirety by themselves. And I wouldn't get the winning trophy for my bodgy embroidery. But no one will know. It's only you guys and me that bear witness to this little stuff up. But that will hold it. So, oh, what a mess. This thread, seriously, it will be used sparingly, let me tell you. I think it's meant to be used as a single filament, not what I just did. So if you do use it, expect it to, you know, be a cantankerous mood boards. Samplers are a good way to have a little play with some of these pieces and threads, and then decide whether you want to go there on your actual piece. And it was only because I was putting my threads away that popped out. And I thought, well, that's the colour, and memories flew back as to my experience. And it wasn't pleasant. Okay, so that little guy, that was that green, yeah, this little bit. Just get a little piece. The other one that's annoying me is this stem here. I think when we looked at the book from Jennifer, she had done that embroidery as a sample, and that was just randomly sitting there. We've put it together as a scene, so therefore things sort of need to go somewhere. That one's not as bad, and I think it's because it just sort of looks like it's part of this, so that's not obvious to me. This one feels like it is in no man's land a little bit. And that's when I realised that this one doesn't go anywhere. So I felt like we needed to put a couple little stitches here. Like, I'm probably being finicky. Well, I'm not finicky. But when you see something in your piece that's just bugging your eye, I can't let it go until I fix it. Because every time I look at it, I'll notice it. Now, the other thing I was thinking about doing is, how else can I drag this white up through the piece? So we have this white ribbon embroidery, but what else could I use? Now, let me grab this. I just want to see if I should. Yeah, I'm going to attempt to satin stitch a little bit more. I put one more stitch there. Then I might jump down to here and put a stitch in there. And I'll do another one. Sort of don't want to overdo it either. Then I'll come down a bit further and start the stem down here. And we'll try and take it down into there. Whether the Seamstress project will have flowers to this degree, as in growing flowers, wildflowers, or it'll be more of a cluster looking down on flowers, which I'm sort of thinking it might be. Don't know. I want to go through my Sanderson fabrics and see what pieces are there that sort of suit. So that's better. I feel like that's got a little bit more life in it. I'm just wondering if I should put a petal up through here. Am I getting a bit busy? I might leave it. Leave it. Okay, so the last thing I just want to have a little play with is, I have some bridal fabrics that I got from that bridal place in Melbourne, offcuts and things. This is my tray too for this project so far. So I'm better put those in amongst our goodies. I need a container for them. I'll do it when I finish filming. So yeah, I've got this out. Actually, I can hear the doorbell. I'm going to pause the video. It's 35 minutes. I must make note of that. All right, I'll be back in a moment, guys. Hi, guys. I'm back. So I got myself some little extra containers. Oops. Got some extra containers. So I've bagged up those 3. And I just had one more container and I was just going to put those in there. This is a little set of containers that fit in one of these. And I must have packed them with a bit of a selection of things for a project. And I'm just revisiting it and found that silver items were in there. So they're now out and in the box of goodies for the project. And I found these. Now this was part of a wide, what do they call it? It's a lace, but it's made of a little beady things. So as I was saying just before I paused the video, I was looking at what I can do with some floral pieces that are very bridal, and this is one of them, to work in more of this white through. So I thought we might as well have a little play and see what we can do, because we've got to try and marry the 2 worlds together. So I thought just some little scattered pretty little flowers, and then we'll drag that white up. The other thing I wanted to do was add a little bit of vintage lace up here, just to sort of balance it. But I do, gee, that's bright on that little flower. That's the little flower. You can see the detail there. It's layered and it's got a little pearl in it. They're just going to be floating. So there's this one as well that has a bit of embroidery behind it. That's pretty. These would be, this sort of feels like it might have been a material used for a veil. So a scattering of flowers around the face of the bride, leading down to an edge. It might be a bit big. Might be getting to the point of overpowering my piece. I don't know. I must keep an eye on the time. I've lost my confidence of stopping and starting now. Just doesn't quite. No. Is there another single one? Nice single one close to the edge. I think that's all I'm going to need is 3 little ones. And I'll just bring a little bit more white up into the piece. If I didn't have such a distinctive aim or brief, it wouldn't be as tricky to try and merge these 2 worlds together. But I think we're pulling it off, considering we've got this really polar white thing. See, that's the bottom of this piece of lace. It's quite decorative. And then the little scattered ones come up the top of it. So that would be just beautiful, worked into a piece, and then embroider from there. Anyway, sidetracked. Put it back. Now, so I can grab my containers right behind me. So I do have this as well, these flowers, but they're a bony colour. But they would work. I'll save that for a rainy day because it's pretty delicate. I had thought, I haven't used them yet either. I had thought of putting a random little piece of lace at the top. Just to, but it's, no, the thought is gone. Not at this stage. Who knows, as the 6 months goes on, there might be an opportunity to, I've now started tidying up the bead trays. Focus on what I'm doing. Oh my goodness. There might be an opportunity to add more morsels to all of the mood boards, because as we, you know, stitch the prompts and find all of the treasures, I might be able to come back and do more. Well, I will. I'm sure I will. At the end of the day, the journal is capturing the whole project. I found some really old music too that my grandmother, as well as the seamstress, of course, she played the organ for church. And Granddad would play, he could play the organ as well, but he'd play this guitar, electric guitar. So there was lots of music. Sheet music. And I found a couple, and they even have the family name written on it. I'm just going to keep them low, actually, just down in here, just as a little bit of interest. Do I crowd those? Yeah, like that, just as a little. What do I do? Run down in there so it looks like it's connected. Yeah, I think that's where they'll go. So I need Reginald, the very fine, nasty little needle. How are we going for time? I must only do this for a few minutes because I really want to show you a quick pan across the room of how I'm hanging my pieces. Maybe I'll get that right up into there. Yep. So it's just a case now of stitching these down, and that's the piece finished for now. I wonder if these need to be closer to the stems so they feel like they're part of the flower. I don't know. I don't even know if I like them, to be honest. Let's get them off. Yeah, I'm going to leave them off at this stage. I'm thinking I'm muddying the piece. These I don't mind because they are bringing the piece from the bottom up. So to me that feels okay. Those are going to go away for now. They might pop up later in the We can stitch these on. So yeah, as I was saying, I've got a container now ready for the project. Not my usual, because I've got these huge chunks of fabric from the pack. So I needed something a little bit deeper, but it did have a tidy tray in the top of it, which will hold my threads and things like that. So I'm happy with that. I'm sure I'll be starting other containers for the Seamstress project, but we'll see. And the container, I actually got it from Big W. I've got two of them. They're really good for when I travel, because in the bottom I can fit my needle case and scissors, in the top threads, beads, bits of lace. Last flower. And like I said, I think I will end up stitching that. I won't be able to help myself, especially if there's a week where it's a little bit quiet and I'll be looking for something without starting a project, and I can pull this out and have a play with that. So last little flower. Reginald, seriously, I just want 2 more stitches out of you, son. So just do it, and then you can be put away for the rest of the day. Maybe 3 stitches. All right, 1 more, Reginald. Come on, son. Don't bite me. You nasty little piece of work. Good on you. Good on you. We've made it. Nice little knot at the back. That's a boy. Excellent. Now off you go. I'll call you when I need you. Don't come out beforehand. All right. So that's my little tidy tray. Already a mess. Goodness sakes. Trying hard to keep it tidy. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys. I've gone off on another rabbit hole. That's all good. Pop that in there. So yeah, as I was saying, this little container I got from Big W, and it is really good. Let me come up a little bit. That's it. Get ourselves in position. And that's it there. So the top hole is deep, holds your fabrics, and then that sits down. So that's the Seamstress project to some degree sorted. The other thing I found in my travels was this little piece of ephemera that came off some lace. You'll probably remember it in a series. I don't know where it was, but I thought to myself that before it gets lost, it was floating around in the bottom of one of the containers from the in the garden, down the garden path. So I thought this would be a great spot to store it, because I've already got some ephemera on this little French rice bag. So I was wondering, could I incorporate it? Yeah. So I'm going to attempt to push it through the layers like so, because it's really sharp. Yep, there we go. It's through. And it can just have a little home there forever and a day. started pulling out some of my mum's and my grandmother's jewellery out of the safe and looking at it all. I think I mentioned it, that I had some hat pins and there's heaps of brooches from Grandma. Well, a couple days later, I'm giving my lounge room a bit of a tidy up, and I moved the couch to vacuum underneath because there's just threads everywhere in my house from all the embroidery I do. And I found one of the hat pins underneath the chair. That's one of them there. So I go, oh my goodness, just put things away properly. Don't drop them. Terrible. So I'm just getting my scissors in there to push down that little edge. There we go. So there's the little piece on the bottom. All right, guys. Now, the next thing I want to do, because we are scooting along in time, is I'm going to pan the camera. This little piece is finished. It is done. I'm going to show you next the storage solution for my panels. So for those of you who don't have walls, just bear with me as I tilt this around. Whoa, that didn't work. There we go. We're going without the stand. I thought the stand would hold it. See that there? That is a air dryer from the laundry that goes over my door. And I just got some coat hangers and I'm able to hang my panels on it that I've completed. So there's the French garden at the back. There's the down the garden path splash of colour. That's a piece I did ages ago that's very similar to what we're doing. There's our rabbit and William Morris and the Jessie Chorley panel, which brings me to Jessie Chorley's panel is back in stock. I'll get you some more details in a moment. But if you look just through there, there's my mannequin. So I was able to, I'm going to take you across now. I was able to just move this art stand across and I could slide my mannequin in. And there's my stand that holds all my threads. That's the shop fixture I was talking about. Really, really handy. And it's got Perspex boxes all through it so that I can have all my bulky threads in it. So that's the process there. So I did a little bit of tidying up. I pretty much got all my bench sorted, got a couple future projects sitting there. There's my TV screen where I'm filming to. I'm doing a bit of tidy up there. I haven't got to my lace yet. I need to sort that out, freshen things up. And then behind me now, sitting there, was all of my junk journal kits. So I've now got these Perspex stands. I had those beads out for you guys a second ago, so they just need to slide back in. I've got my new storage containers going up there full of the different fabrics. I do want to sort them a little bit more, and I'm going to go to Officeworks to find a labeling system that maybe a black label with a chalk pen so that I can write and change. There's all my journey of stitchery. There you go, Roxy girls. Look at all that work, my goodness. That's all of the previous volumes. And now I have this behind me so I can grab, French lace was at the top. I can grab anything I want out of there. And there's my threads. Like I said, I have sorted them by colour. And I think that is going to be really, really helpful. And they're right behind me. So now I can grab and go. All right, guys, let's get you back to the stand if I haven't broken it. If I have broken it, I may need to finish the video. Let's see if I can get you in. So hold your breath. No, we're good. There we go. I can zoom back in. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's it today. Bit of everything today, and I'm feeling like this piece has come to a point where I can pop it away for now, and then when I start working on the journal, I've got myself a little mood board section to at least add into the journal. Okay, look after yourselves. Have a lovely day. Tomorrow's next video, well, the next 3 videos, is the Susanna project, which is working with the classic log cabin piecing that together, and I hand sew it, and then it follows into another rice bag. Shabby chic is the theme, but it's only one side. It's just an idea that I saw on some videos that I really wanted to play with and have a, you know, explore it, and then I could have somewhere to put it. And if I do any classes or do anything else shabby chicy, I've still got the 3 other sides of the rice bag to actually store them. Now, before I go, Jessie Chorley's panel, that panel that I've stitched there is called The Garden, and it's back in stock. It was unavailable for a while, so if you would like to embroider that piece, you can head over to Jessie Chorley's website and actually pick it up. It's £35 and it's huge, 75 centimetres by 45 centimetres. So a lot of fun. So Jessie Chorley, it's back in stock. It's printed, pre-printed, and you just embroider it to whatever you want to do. I did colours, and I also seed stitched the back of it, and I put a lot of lace and antique bits and pieces into it. So it's a lot of fun, that piece. There's a whole video series on that I'll actually pop it in the description below, because it was like a year or so ago. All right, guys, look after yourselves. I'll put Jessie's website there as well, so that you can click on it to go across if you wanted to grab that panel. All right, look after yourselves, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.